This is Cashing Out on VSiN, the sports betting network.
All right, let's have some fun. It's time for Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo, taking you through your Wednesday night. We've got some NBA action to get on top of, a little bit of baseball, although being Wednesday, popular travel day, a lot of games earlier in the day. Only one, I believe, still going on, Milwaukee, taking it to the Colorado Rockies up there at Coors Field, Mile High City. 10-2 Brewers in the eighth. They were shorter favorites than you'd expect. I believe you could have gotten Milwaukee laying just 40 cents or so on the money line. Not a bad price for any team opposing the Colorado Rockies. Well, that would have paid dividends. 10-2 Brew Crew, top of the eighth. A lot of NBA action going on. We're going to get to it all. We're going to get to some action on the ice later on in the show. We've got a great guest list, including VSiN's NHL expert, Jonathan Davis, coming up in hour two. How about hour one? Our buddy Tanner Kern, content creator over at DraftKings Sportsbook, going to join the show. And then in hour three, we're going to break down the Masters with who else? Wes Reynolds, VSiN's senior handicapper. Wes's Winners makes its return to the program later on in hour three. Terrific guest list put together by our exceptional producer, Jared Moore. I can't wait to pick the minds of Jonathan, Tanner, and Wes later on in the program. Let's get to the NBA action, though, that's going on as we speak. The Utah Jazz and the Portland Trail Blazers, two teams going nowhere in a tight one in Salt Lake City, though. 98-94. Jazz lead it, 7:45 to go. We'll get you a live line on that one momentarily. San Antonio, Golden State in the first half. Golden State does need that game. Spurs going nowhere. But San Antonio leads it, 50-46. Little revenge spot. What was it, 2 Sundays ago? Golden State beat the brakes off of the Spurs in San Antonio in front of Tim Duncan. Well, now it's up by the Bay Area. Still very early. Golden State jumped out to a big lead, 32-23 after one. Cash your first quarter tickets. San Antonio, though, outdoing the Warriors 30-14 here in the second quarter. It's 53-46 now, inside 2 minutes to go. We'll get you a live number there when we reach the half. Same with Oklahoma City and Phoenix. I mean, this game, I don't know, can we say this game matters for either side? It doesn't matter for the Thunder. They're the 1 seed. They can't win 70, so, they're just on autopilot the rest of the way. For Phoenix, I suppose technically as the Mavericks drop one, we'll get to that momentarily. The Suns are still somewhat alive for the 10 seed. They're up 59-49, 3 minutes to go in the first half. But the Suns do have no margin for error. They're sitting there at 35-44. The Mavericks, 38-42. So if the Suns lose one more game, they're mathematically eliminated. Nuggets, Kings, Denver, 3.5 to go in the first half, and they lead at 53-50. First game in the post-Mike Malone era. How about that? We were all over it yesterday. We'll still dive into it here today. I'm sure it'll come up as the show progresses. But Michael Malone, Nuggets coach, Calvin Booth, Nuggets GM, both out in Denver. I'm sure you've been hearing about it all day, starting yesterday on the network. So 48 straight hours covering that. But just an absolutely nonsensical firing from the timing perspective of it. 3 games left in the regular season, playoffs around the corner. Nuggets 8-1. To win the West. I wouldn't touch that with a 39.5-foot pole, Mr. Grinch. 8-1 for a team firing their head coach at this juncture. That is ludicrous. It's even more ludicrous that they've stayed 8-1. 8-1 is where they were yesterday. That number hasn't moved, hasn't fluctuated at all. We've talked about these Western Conference odds. I'll continue to be all over them. I've got my Rockets 27-1 in pocket. How's the 2 seed going to be the 7th shot on the board? Make it make sense. Oklahoma City down a few cents, minus 125. Not an egregious price, but can the Thunder with this young core of theirs put it together in the playoffs? They're going to have home court. Can they perform in the postseason? Warriors plus 550, Lakers plus 650 behind them. And then you get to Denver 8-1, Clippers 18-1, Minnesota 20-1, Rockets 25-1. We got Houston 27-1 on Sunday night. How about those Lakers, huh? Go into Dallas, and I'm not ignoring these live odds. I'm just waiting for halftime to hit on most of these games. So we get a break in the action, and we get, an actual an actual set number here that's not going to fluctuate and bounce around every other second while we're talking to you. Although Utah-Portland, that is the fourth quarter game I mentioned. The Jazz were just up 98-94. Little 5-0 run for the Blazers. 6.5 minutes to go. They're up 99-98. Portland, minus 2.5 live. Kind of like it. Blazers team isn't going anywhere, but they're young. Almost feels like they're playing for next year. Just trying to figure out what it feels like. And this might sound silly, but it's a real thing. If you've played sports, you know it's a real thing. It's almost like in practice when you shoot 100 free throws to try to see it just go through the hoop. Winning games with young teams, you might be on the outside looking at this Portland team and saying, oh, what does it matter to win at this point? Wouldn't you rather tank? No, they've got a young, promising core. Winning games, even if they're eliminated from this year's postseason race, it matters. You got to get used to the feeling of winning, just like you have to get used to seeing the ball go through the net, right? It's the case with, Detroit recent years. You look at the Pistons last year. Oh, they win games late. Whoop-de-doo, they're not going anywhere. Well, no, last year they weren't, but now this year, Detroit, look at them. They're in the 6th seed with a chance to play for the 5 seed. So it does matter when you've got a young core. Get used to that winning feeling. Know what it's like to win at this level. Portland hasn't known that for quite some time now, since the Dame CJ era. So the Blazers up 99-98, laying 2.5 with 6 to go. I kind of like it. They're already up 1. You just need them to play, outscore Utah by 2 the rest of the way. Here we go. It's 101-98. Now they're minus 4.5 live. Yeah, I didn't mind that number at all. Portland's playing to win. Even though they're out of it, they're playing to win. And that is always something that makes for a dangerous team during this weird time of the year, final 2 weeks or so of the regular season. But we'll update the other games when they all reach the half. San Antonio Golden State has reached the half. It's 55-51 Spurs. The Warriors, despite their 4-point deficit, laying 7 and a hook on the live line. I don't know if I would lay that. They would need to outscore San Antonio by 12 in the second half? I mean, it's entirely possible. I just down 4, laying 7.5. That's not something I got to run to the counter for. I liked that Portland minus 2.5 a lot more down the stretch as they're on a little 9-2 run in Salt Lake City. Let's get to that Lakers-Mavericks game, though. Let's react to that. Lakers, we're laying 4.5. Talked about it yesterday. Never got to the counter on it, but I did like it. Told you I liked it. Just couldn't. It's the NBA. It's late in the season. Weird stuff happens. I wasn't going to force it. But the number felt off. Felt way too short for a Luka revenge spot. And a Luka revenge spot is exactly what it was. How about Luka Doncic? Tears in his eyes on the bench watching the Dallas Mavericks tribute video. And I mean, this game, it was just a weird game to watch. It was unlike anything you've ever seen. It seemed like no matter who had the ball, the crowd was cheering. They were cheering for the Mavericks. They were cheering for Luka. There was no booing. It didn't feel like there was a road team. And Luka certainly fed off the energy. How about 16 of 28 from the floor, far and away more field goal attempts than anyone else out there. I believe double the amount that anyone on Dallas had. Najee Marshall was 9 of 14. Luka, 16 of 28 himself, 7 of 10 from 3. 45 points. What a homecoming that was. Anthony Davis, pretty lackluster night for the Mavs. 13 points, 11 boards. Didn't quite feed off of the energy the same way in his rematch that Luka did. And I get it from Luka. They're, in this case, they're going to Dallas. Luka's returning home. For Anthony Davis, he's in his new home. It's not like Anthony Davis was in LA. So there's a bit of a different factor here. Luka getting the tribute video and everything. But 45 points. And I talked about the inflated point total yesterday. Oh, how about what a kick in the head that is. It was 30.5. You looked at his last 10 games, the point total was 26.5, 27.5, pretty much every game. 30.5, I pointed it out yesterday's program, said, of course, the books are going to inflate this because of the emotion behind the game. You can inflate it all you want. 45 is going to go over just about every number you can drop. Insane showing for Luka. Goes over on boards with 8 of them, stays under on assists with 6. And how about this? Luka was so jazzed up, he actually decided to play defense in this one, something he doesn't always do. 4 steals. He was plus 26, or the team, I should say, was plus 26 when Luka was out there as the Lakers win at 112-97. Nice little 15-point win for the Lake Show. LeBron added 27 7 boards. I'll tell you, for LeBron to go 27 points in addition to Luka throwing up 45, that's fairly surprising. Hachimura, 15. He came back to the rotation. Reeves, light night, just 11, but he didn't need to pour it in offensively. Mentioned AD with 13. Najee Marshall had the big game for Dallas. He had 23 to go with 8 assists. No one else really all that notable of a performance. PJ Washington had 14, but the Lakers just destroyed Dallas. The Mavericks hung in there for the first half. First quarter, they had a little 4-point lead. Lakers started to assert themselves in the second quarter, and then in the second half, the Lakers just put the bow on it. Stopped messing around. Luka just absolutely took over in Dallas. Some other games that have already wrapped up. Our producer, Jared Moore, actually, I want to give him a shout out. Very kind of him to rush home and produce this episode of Cashing Out. He played for the Boston Celtics tonight in Orlando. He suited up. Actually led the team with 4 points out of their 76. You and I could have been playing for the Boston Celtics tonight. They ran out a bunch of no-names. And, you know, I said this yesterday on Cashing Out. The Magic opened laying 1.5, and then it quickly got to 4. I don't even know where it closed. But you knew the Celtics, they had no reason to run their guys out there against the Knicks. But they wanted to take it to the Knicks. They wanted to complete the season sweep at MSG. So they play everyone not named Al Horford against the Knicks. You knew they weren't playing anyone tonight. Come on. Back-to-back, they got the 2 seed locked up. They're bored with the regular season. It's game number 80. Magic 96-76. Good on you if you had the under. But the Boston Celtics, there was no way. They were trying in this one. 76 points. Yeah, they're bored with the regular season. More Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo up next.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo, on a Wednesday night, taking you around the NBA. We'll get to the MLB, recap a busy Wednesday on the Diamond here shortly. How about some live lines? I promised you we'd go over them when these games reached the half. Let's do just that now. 38 seconds to go in Utah. Blazers lead at 112-110. Threw out there that when they were up 1, I liked them minus 2.5. The Jazz have scored a bit. Portland, since the show began, on a 18 to 12 run. Excuse me. They're up 2, laying 3.5 live. Let's see if they can cover that 2.5 mark. Didn't play it, but certainly liked it. Halftime, 3 games. Oklahoma City, Phoenix. Suns are up 5. That one's practically a pick'em. You know, the Thunder don't need the game, but they're one of those young teams. They don't have a lot of quit in them. They're laying 1.5 on the live line. All you got to do is outscore the Suns by 6 the rest of the way. Now, there's no Dort, there's no SGA, no Hartenstein. Yeah, I don't think I can get there on it. Even though I got a little gut feeling that Oklahoma City's going to win this one, and they're laying 1.5 live, money line minus 35 cents. But no SGA, no Dort, no Hartenstein, no action. They're down 5. Jalen Williams, 16, leading the way. Aaron Wiggins has 11. Holmgren just 8. For the Suns, Ryan Dunn has 10. Bradley Beal has 14. Devin Booker has 11, but already 8 assists, already over his assist number at the half. Golden State, we mentioned that game got to halftime the quickest, so that game will be back on the quickest. They're down 55-51 at home against San Antonio. Warriors laying 7.5 on the live number. Big performers there for Golden State. Jimmy Butler's got 11. Steph has 10. Steph just 1 of 5 from 3. I think his over-under was 4.5. Buddy Hield's got 3 threes off the bench. Good for 9 points, because that's all he does, shoot threes. Buddy Hield, he's going to be interesting to me postseason time, looking at his prop numbers, because I think bench players typically see their numbers go down, the market for them, in terms of points scored when the playoffs run around, because you expect, starters are going to play more. Buddy's going to be important to their success. Now, maybe because he is their true sixth man, gets as many minutes as some of their starters, maybe that won't be the case for him. but he's going to be a guy I keep an eye on when the playoffs roll around. Draymond's got 8, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. Technically on pace for a triple-double at the half. For San Antonio, Chris Paul's got a dozen, as does Stephon Castle, your heavy favorite right now for Rookie of the Year. Really unrecognizable Spurs group getting run out there in the late stages of the season. Obviously no Fox, no Wemby. But San Antonio, kind of a lost year. Popular team by many people to make the playoffs. Popular pick to go over on their win total. And obviously just derailed by injuries on the season. But nonetheless, they lead Golden State by 4 at the half. Denver leading Sacktown 66-58 at the break. 8-point lead for the Nuggets. Pre-flop, this one opened near a pick'em. Closed, Denver got as high up as laying 4.5 at close. We were on air, it was 2.5. And I thought that number was undervaluing the Nuggets. Obviously, with the turmoil there, Michael Malone being out, I think that made it a shorter number than it otherwise should have been if you were neutrally evaluating these teams. I mean, Denver is the far superior team to Sacramento. But I think that number got shortened up just because of the turmoil, Malone, Booth. But you look at the Nuggets here. Jokic has 10 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, also 4 steals. Are we on quadruple double watch for Nikola Jokic in this one? Porter's got 14. Aaron Gordon has 14. Jalen Pickett, only 3 points, 3 assists, getting the start, 14 minutes. Christian Braun is a team-high 16. How about that? Jokic, just the 4th leading scorer on the Nuggets. Kings have 4 guys with 9, no one in double figures. Trey Lyles, DeMar DeRozan, Keon Ellis, and then off the bench, Doug McDermott. 9 points, 3 of 4 from the floor, 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. So 4 guys with 9. Zach LaVine's got 8, and then Domantas Sabonis 6 points and 6 boards for Sacramento. This one on pace to, I believe, hit the over at 66-58. High scoring affair there. Denver on the live line, laying 8.5. So they would just have to win the second half to cover that live number. Clippers Rockets at the Intuit Dome. Inglewood 50-46. Clippers lead it at home, laying 10.5. Live. Wow, for a 4-point lead, 6 minutes to go in the second quarter. That seems a little lofty to be laying that many against a Houston team. I mean, I guess it's a Rockets team that has locked up the 2 seed. So they don't necessarily need the game. Houston without some key players. No Şengün, no Jabari Smith. Yeah. It's actually kind of remarkable that the Rockets have hung in there the way that they have. Jalen Green is out there. No Van Fleet either. Although Green's notched just 9 minutes, the fewest of any of the 5 starters. Yeah, Clippers laying 10.5 makes sense. Zubats has 10 points, 7 boards. Kawhi only 5 points. James Harden, a high among the starters with 13. Nicholas Batum off the bench, 4 of 5 from beyond the arc. He's got 15. He's got the team high. Wow, look at that. So yeah, Clippers minus 10.5. Honestly, they're up 4, 6.5 to go in the second. It's early. High scoring game. That feels like the right side. I can't see Houston maintaining this pace. 46 points in a quarter and a half. Pretty impressive. You look at the guys the Rockets have out there, though. I can't see them maintaining that, keeping up with the Clippers. So, yeah, Clippers 50-46 currently. Laying 10.5 does feel like the right side there. Now it's down to 9.5, despite being a bit of a lofty number. Warriors up to 8.5-point favorites. I don't know, out of all these numbers, I think Denver laying 8.5 might be my favorite of all the live numbers. They're already up 8, just got to win the second half in Sacramento. This game matters for them because you got the 4 through 8 seeds all bunched up there in a virtual tie. 1 game separating seeds 4 through 8. I think Denver's got something to prove. After the Malone and the Booth firings, a pissed off Jokic, never a good thing. I think the Nuggets want to crush Sacramento. Laying 8.5 with them, I mean, it's not as obviously good as the value you would have gotten before the game started, but of all the live games, I think that's the one that entices me the most. Portland's shooting free throws here. They're up 114-112. This next free throw will determine if they possibly cover that 2.5-point number with 7 seconds left in that one. Hey, folks, we're going to talk about the Masters as the program progresses. Wes Reynolds joining us later on to break it down. But the Masters is here, and our partner, ProfitX, is offering the best odds all tourney long. ProfitX is a peer-to-peer sports exchange available in 40-plus states, first of its kind in the United States. You'll be able to make your sports picks against other groups of fans rather than against the books themselves. Exchanges guarantee you the best odds on average by 10 to 20%, and you can even request your own odds. So download ProfitX today with the code VSIN, V-S-I-N, and earn up to $200 in profit cash over your first month. How about that promo? Let's take it to the Diamond. Spent a lot of time on the NBA here. Brewers not done piling on Colorado, huh? 10-2, top 9. They've got first and second with no outs at Coors Field. Hey, why not? Now, at this point, you're just building confidence. Jackson Chourio at the dish. Tied for the Major League lead in extra base hits on the. I don't know if that was Major League or if that was National League, but 11 extra base hits. It's been an impressive season. The Brewers lineup, you look at Terang and Chourio at the top, and they're killing it. And then not a whole lot of good stuff with Yelich, Contreras behind him. Chourio just hit a squibber to the pitcher, threw it over Tolia's head, the first baseman, and the Brew Crew are going to score 2. Wow, they're going to score from first on that. Chourio ends up at second. Little E1 going to cost 2 runs there, 12-2 Brewers, Chourio on second, not out. Your Wednesday MLB recap, Yankees avoid the sweep, narrowly hold on to defeat the Detroit Tigers, 4-3. Aaron Judge, 2-run single in the 9th. That was necessary at the time. It made it 4-0 Yankees, but the Tigers put up a 3 spot in the bottom of the 9th. So that Judge 2-run single proved much needed. He leads the MLB. 20 runs batted in 12 games. How about that? What's he on pace for? 210? Rangers defeat the Cubs 6-2. Corey Seager, he's gotten off to a really slow start, but he was 2 for 5 with 2 homers. Give him 3 on the year after that one. Texas, underdogs in this one. They took it to Shota Imanaga. And the San Francisco Giants walk it off, beating the Reds in 10 innings, 8-6. Mike Yastrzemski, 2-run homer for San Fran in that one. Justin Verlander got the ball for the Giants. Is it time to have the discussion with Justin Verlander as Christian Yelich goes deep here? I mean, hey, Yelich needs it. He's had a bad start to the year. 14-2 Brewers. 10-2 wasn't enough going into the 9th inning. 4 guys up, 4 guys have scored. Poor Rockies. Justin Verlander. I love him. First ballot Hall of Famer. I think it's time to hang it up. Astoundingly notched 9 strikeouts. I mean, this is a guy who doesn't really have K stuff anymore. Only went 5 1/3. Got shelled. Struck out 9. 9 of the 16 outs he recorded were via the K. But Justin Verlander goes out there, and it's like the guy's a shell of himself. I mean, it's kind of sad watching him go out there and get shelled repeatedly. Like, you're one of the best to do it. I think it's time to call it quits. We'll see what he does. More cashing out. Tanner Kern joins us up next with some baseball best bets.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSIN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through the late hours of your Wednesday night into your Thursday morning here on the program. And we've got a light but intriguing MLB slate on Thursday. It's a getaway day for some. Who better to break it all down with via the Progressive Guest Line than our friend, content creator over at DraftKings Sportsbook, Tanner Kern, as he joins the program. Tanner, how are you, my friend? What's been your early takeaway from betting baseball this season? Because, frankly, I'm a little fed up with the early results.
Yeah, I mean, betting baseball is hard. And I think we're learning that in the first week of the season. We were talking about the Dodgers before we got on here. It's Los Angeles struggles against the Nationals today, going up 4-0, then not covering the run line, dropping 2 or 3 to Washington. The Boston Red Sox not being able to hit the ball this week after just mashing the ball over the weekend. So baseball is a hard sport to bet. And the more numbers we get, the more data we get, it gets a little easier. But right now, it's definitely tough as teams start to find their groove. And just these cold weather games, too. You know, being here in Boston, right outside of Fenway, it's freezing, and I don't know how these guys are playing through it. So it's tough to bet baseball, especially early in the year.
Yeah, and you talk about these cold weather games, and I was targeting pitcher props. Both Tuesday and Wednesday had early games. Yankees, Tigers at Comerica pushed up the time of the game because of how cold it's been in Detroit. And I targeted pitcher props there. Boom, start my day with a win back-to-back days, and then out of my 3 bets, followed up by 2 losers because it's been so unpredictable. You get off on the right foot, and then, I had a Dodgers-Red Sox parlay plus $1.40 Tuesday, right? Great odds. Robleski was going for the Dodgers, no one to write home about, but the Nationals had that, what was his name, Ben Lord or whatever going, another no-name pitcher. You figured the Dodgers would shell him. Dodgers get their butts kicked, and Garrett Crochet on the bump for the Red Sox against Easton Lucas and the Jays, and both Boston and the Dodgers end up losing. So the unpredictability of the early goings of baseball are in full swing here as we watch some April ball. You've got to play on the Red Sox, trying to avoid a 4-game sweep against Toronto. What's the play on Thursday?
I don't think they're going to avoid that sweep. I think this is the Blue Jays game to take, but I'm going to go a different angle on the game. Red Sox under 4.5 runs for their team total. Boston struck out 13 times tonight. They continue to hit into double plays more than anyone else in baseball right now. They're reverting back to that offense we saw in Texas to open the season, and that was not pretty. The only person hitting the ball in that series was Wilyer Abreu, and right now nobody's seeming to find an answer for the offense. The cold weather's impacted both teams in this series. The Blue Jays have not hit the ball great. Even the games that they've won, it's been because of Red Sox mistakes. It's not like they are mashing the ball around the yard. But for Boston, they have to face Chris Bassett, and that's going to be a very tough task. He was really good against Baltimore and then fantastic against the Mets. Coming off a 6.2 inning performance of shutout baseball against New York, only allowed 4 hits in that game, struck out 9. Once it gets to Toronto's bullpen, I have that much more confidence that they're going to shut down the Red Sox because Boston's seen a lot of pitchers in the series, and they just have not been able to find an answer from top to bottom. So under 4.5 runs is the play here, and I do think the Blue Jays find a way to win this game.
Tanner, I don't know if you can think back far enough to last week, but if you recall, the Chicago White Sox started the year 1-0 and then 2-2, and were in first place in the AL Central. Since then, they've lost 7 straight. The White Sox look like last year's White Sox. They're 0-5 on the road, and they're at Cleveland on Thursday. What's the play here?
But the numbers aren't that bad compared to Cleveland. That's the thing, Joe. The White Sox are not a good winning team. They're a decent covering team right now. And you got to make up terms to make the White Sox seem like they have a pulse here. I'm going to call them, they're on a cover streak right now. I mean, they've lost by 1 run or less. You can't lose by less than 1, but 1 run or less in the past 3 games. The White Sox are messing with my mind, Joe. I'm trying to make them sound good. But I think they do have a nice matchup here against Cleveland. Chicago scored 32 runs this season. Cleveland has scored 35, and the Guardians only have 5 more hits this season and a worse statistical pitching staff, which is crazy to think about. Chicago's opponents average 217, Cleveland's average 267. So there's opportunities for the White Sox to win this game, but I do like them at plus 1.5 or minus 115. I don't trust either pitcher in this game, in Jonathan Cannon or Gavin Williams, but the White Sox have been hot against the spread, and statistically, they should be a better team than 2-9. They don't know how to win close games, and that's a big issue of theirs, but you can take them plus 1.5, get a little extra insurance there for a really good price of minus 115. And for the past 3 days, that has hit. So I'm going to rely on it to hit once again for the 4th consecutive day.
Got another all AL Central matchup going on Thursday. Kansas City 6-6, currently in first place, hosting Minnesota. Michael Wacha looked phenomenal last season for the Royals. He struggled early on this year, 0-2 with an ERA of 4.5. But how about Bailey Ober for the Twins? He came in with high expectations, and he's got an ERA north of 12 in a couple starts. What do you like here, Twins Royals?
Yeah, and that first game against St. Louis was not pretty for him. Allowed 8 runs in 2.2 innings. Did respond a little bit against Houston. Only gave up 1 run in 4 innings. But I'm going to fade him in this spot and take the Kansas City Royals for a really good price of minus 115. I don't love Michael Wacha. I just don't love contact pitchers in general. It's really hard to succeed in Major League Baseball as a contact pitcher in today's day and age because you're going to miss spots, and these hitters are so good, they're going to make you pay for it. But when I look at this game, the Twins offense just has not been that good this season. The Royals do the little things right as well offensively, so that gives me more confidence in them. They have a 300 team OBP right now compared to Minnesota at 264. And Minnesota in day games, just 3-7. And the pitching staff has been significantly worse than Kansas City as a whole. Need a decent outing for Michael Walker, which could be hard here, but the Minnesota offense hasn't given me any confidence that they're going to find a way to hit Walker. And if he locates, he can pitch. So I see a low-scoring affair that Kansas City pulls out late at home in this one, and for a really good price, can't beat it.
Hey, how about the Angels and Tampa Bay? The Angels don't look now. I mean, they've fallen out of it after Wednesday, but Wednesday morning when they woke up, they were in first place in the AL West. This team has scored more runs than any other AL West team. They've allowed the second fewest runs of any team in that division. I mean, I had them pegged for fifth and last place in that division preseason. It could be fluky. They could be onto something, though. What do you like here, Angels-Rays series finale?
Again, it's so early, and the Angels look like a good team. The Blue Jays look like a really good team right now. I know they're beating up on my Red Sox, but that's a team that wasn't expected to do much this season. So you really can't take a lot from these first couple weeks of baseball. But I do like the under of 8.5 runs in this Angels versus Rays game. I think the pitchers form a perfect combination for an under. Jose Soriano and Zach Littell are going to be on the mound. Both have been really good this season. Different styles. They each have whips under 1. You know, Soriano's a really good strikeout pitcher. A little less accuracy. He's going to win with power more. Where Littell's been that contact guy, he's going to win with accuracy, but he does have the ability to get hit if he doesn't locate, just like every single contact pitcher in Major League Baseball. The Angels have been efficient offensively because of home runs. They're not going to, work around the bases with singles and doubles. They're going to hit home runs, 14 and 11 games. But when you look at Littell, he does a really nice job of keeping the ball in the yard, has only allowed 1 home run this season. And the Rays win by putting the ball in play. But this doesn't lead to a ton of runs, especially against a guy like Soriano, if he can find a groove early and not walk a lot of batters here. So between Littell's ability to keep, not give up hard contact, keep the ball in the yard, and then Soriano to do a good job against a mediocre Rays offense here, I do think this is going to be a low-scoring game.
Tanner, it's not a best bet for you, but there's one other game that I've got to ask you about because it's probably the best game on Thursday's slate. Phillies, Braves. Jesus Luzardo's looked fantastic. Just beat the Dodgers last weekend. He's 2-0 with a 1.5, striking out the world. And then you've got Spencer Schwellenbach, who's 1-0 after 2 starts with an ERA of 0. The only qualified pitcher with an ERA of 0 left. The Braves sitting there just 2-9. They're 25-cent favorites. Phillies plus 105. Anything in this game intrigue you? And what are your thoughts on Atlanta? Just 2-9 to start the year.
Well, nobody's ever made the playoffs losing their first 7 games in Major League Baseball, I believe, in modern era. So it's going to be hard for the Braves to climb their way back in it just statistically. They have the team to do it, and we expect them to get better and better. But here I would lean toward the Philadelphia Phillies with Jesus Luzardo on the mound. Been really good this season. Not that I don't like Spencer Schwellenbach, but I just trust Philly's ability to compete and win games. I mean, we saw it against some really good teams so far this season. They've been great offensively, and that's going to make the difference here, where Atlanta has struggled to find the big hit in key spots this year. So for plus money, I will be gladly taking the Phillies here. No play for me right now in this one, Joe, but if I am making a bet here, I'm leaning towards Philadelphia.
Tanner, really appreciate the time and the analysis as always. Thanks so much for hopping on, my man.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Make sure you follow Tanner on Twitter and check out his terrific work over at DraftKings Sportsbook in the content department with our friends over there. Folks, the VSiN Summer Special is here, and it's the best deal of the season. For just $59, you can get full VSiN Pro access to everything we do now through August 1st. That is 50% off the regular monthly price. From Augusta to the draft, baseball, hoops, and hockey, VSiN Pro's got you covered all summer long. Sign up now and get expert picks, including all of our best bets for the Masters, exclusive betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, 24/7 video access on the VSiN Watch app, plus our Kentucky Derby betting guide and the NFL betting guide when it drops this summer, giving you a head start on football season. Every sport, every edge, one flat price. Get full access now through August 1st. Just $59. VSiN.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. I can't wait, personally, for that Phillies-Braves matchup on Thursday. Spencer Schwellenbach. I said maybe he's a year away because he's young. I said he's promising. I don't know if I'd get there in the Cy Young market. It's early. I know it's 2 starts. Hasn't allowed a run yet. The kid is special. I'd be curious to look at his Cy Young odds. More cashing out with me, Joe Ceraulo, after the break.
out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo, here on a Wednesday night, taking you through some of these NBA games as they get ready to wind down. How about the Denver Nuggets? Said when they were, 3 out of 4 games at the half simultaneously, Denver laying 8.5 was my favorite play of the bunch. Didn't bet it, but out of all the live lines at halftime, that was the one that intrigued me the most, and they're up 13. 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. We'll pull up those live odds momentarily. This Brewers-Rockies game is still freaking going on. Milwaukee up 10-2 in the top of the ninth said, hey guys, I know we got a flight to catch, but let's stay a while. Denver's nice, the air is thin, the beer is cheap at Coors Field. Let's enjoy it, let's embrace it. 17-2. Jeez, and they stopped selling beer after the 7th inning. I bet Rockies fans who have stuck this one out wish they could get another cold one. I don't care how chilly it is up in Denver. You need one. Brewers decide to put up a touchdown, top of the ninth. Ruthless. Come on. Just keep the bat on your shoulder and get the hell on the bus. You're up 10-2. 17-2 Brewers. Colorado down to their final out. Ezekiel Tovar at the dish for the Rockies, one of the few bright spots on that team. While we're talking baseball, I want to look at the updated Cy Young odds. Because we just mentioned Spencer Schwellenbach taking the bump against Philly in Atlanta on Thursday. And he was living in that 30-1, 40-1 range, I believe closer to 40-1 preseason. Well, and this isn't over. You can't bet this, right? He's 9-1. How about it? The man really is bringing Schwellen back. Down from 40-1 to 9-1, as good as any. Fourth shot on the board, huh? Paul Skeens plus $1.90. He just got shelled by the Cardinals. Zach Wheeler, my pick, plus 550. We've got him in pocket at, was it 8-1? Hunter Green, 6-1 right now. And then Schwellenbach, 9-1. The kid's great. He really has 5-6 pitches. Goes to all of them about 8 to 10+% of the time. So really mixes in his arsenal well. Fastball dips, dives, and moves. Great breaking stuff. Good little splitty change, too. I love watching this kid pitch. He has grown so much as a pitcher, right? You see so many young kids come up to the MLB nowadays, and they're throwers, not pitchers. Schwellenbach has improved so much. When he came up, he was a disaster his first, 6 weeks in the bigs. And last year, second half, turned it on, was nails August, September, and he's picking up where he left off. This kid is so damn good. Makes me want to bet Atlanta on Thursday, but I can't. Because Luzardo for the Phillies has been sensational. Wonder what that first 5 under is. Let's look there. Total, I believe, is 8 for the game. Wow, 7.5. It's down. 8 at some shops. Do we have a first 5 total yet? I know it's early. First 5, Braves are minus 35 cents. So the Braves are heavier favorites in the first 5 than they are on the full game. Phillies team total, 1.5. Wow. That's a low team total, huh? I don't know if we have a Braves team total post. Oh, there we go. Both team totals are 1.5. What the hell? Do we have a full total? Yeah, total runs. Here we go. 3.5. That's just so damn hard to bet. 3.5. Under is plus $1.15. Over is minus 45 cents. You see, I don't know. I've gone under 3.5 first 5 before, and it was like Framber Valdez versus Tarek Skubal, and it landed on 4. That's just such a low number. I don't know if I can get there on under 3.5 at plus money. Schwellenbach hasn't allowed a run yet this year. Maybe Phillies team total under 1.5. What scares me with Luzardo, great strikeout stuff. The dude's a stud, but he can be erratic at times. And that scares me with him because anytime you're prone to walking guys, it's, more guys on base. Now his whip is sub 1 this year through 2 starts, but he's been prone to walks throughout his career. Current Braves hitters against Luzardo, 18 for 84. It's a modest 214 clip. 27 strikeouts in the 84 at-bats. Good K rate there. Guy like Matt Olson, just 3 for 16 against him with 6 Ks. Braves have been striking out a bunch to start the season. Let me see if there's a K prop posted there on Luzardo. 6.5 for each. Schwellenbach I got burned. It was 4.5 opening, or not opening day. His first start against the Padres, it was 4.5. And it was plus $1.25. Went over. He got to 4 like that. Stayed there for the rest of the game. So, wow, he had 10 his last start out against the Marlins. Luzardo's got 19 through 2 starts. So, I mean, shoot, he's averaging about 10 per start. 6.5 plus money to the over. Actually, well, yeah, so interesting. They are 5.5. Luzardo's minus 60 cents over 5.5. Schwellenbach is minus 50 cents. But then when you go to DraftKings, they also have the, alternate 6 plus 7. 7 plus for Schwellenbach plus $1.35 for Luzardo plus $1.20. I kind of like Luzardo over 6.5 at plus 120 or 7 plus, any way you want to phrase it, at plus 120. We got there with Flaherty over 6.5 at plus 125 against the Yankees. He cashed that out after 3 innings. How about that? 9 outs, 7 Ks. Finished with 9 and I believe 5 1/3. But that Luzardo K number is looking enticing to me. Braves been strikeout machines this year. Let's see where Atlanta ranks early in the season. So you never want to read too deeply into these numbers, but Atlanta in the early goings of the year, 26th Ks per game. 5th worst in baseball, 9.6 per game. Over their last 3, 9 1/3 per game. So Atlanta's a pretty K-prone lineup. Luzardo's been throwing gas, striking guys out left and right this year. Had 8 against the Dodgers, had 11 against the Nationals. Yeah, who's to say you can't get 7? Plus money? Schwellenbach, I don't love K-props necessarily. Earned runs, maybe? What's his earned run? Yeah, under 2.5 minus 75 cents. Come on, that's a joke. 75 cents. That, by the way, I feel like could be a better market to play than a first 5 under, 3.5 combined. If you like one pitcher more than the other, maybe go under 2.5. Luzardo, I mean, you're still laying juice, but for a guy like Luzardo, who's just shut out the Dodgers last Friday, was it Friday or Saturday? He shut out the Dodgers when he pitched, I think Friday. He's minus 140 under 2.5. Still juicier than I'd like, but better than Schwellenbach. Walks allowed, Schwellenbach's walked 1 in his 2 starts. Under 1.5, 35 cents. We don't have outs recorded yet. That's what I've been looking for. We don't have an outs recorded number yet. Earned runs, walks, hits is posted. Hits is interesting. What do we have here? Under 4.5 is plus money for each guy. This is the game that intrigues me the most. Everything on the board Thursday, that Phillies-Braves game, I love that pitching matchup. Ober-Waka has potential there, Minnesota, Kansas City, but both of those guys off to slow starts. Hey, folks, we've got good news here at VSiN. You can take VSiN with you anywhere, anytime. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today. Stay connected to the action wherever you go with the new and improved VSiN Watch app. It's available on your phone, tablet, and smart TV. With the VSiN Watch app, you get 24/7 live access to our audio and video streams, replays of your favorite shows like Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo so you never miss a moment, big screen streaming straight to your smart TV, and more. So watch VSiN anywhere, anytime. Download the VSiN Watch app today. Let's get back to some of these live NBA odds as we get ready to wind down the hour. Third quarter winding down in Sacramento. Denver up 12. Remember, they were laying 8.5 at the half. Now they're laying 9.5 as that lead's been trimmed to 10. Oklahoma City said I had a feeling they win the game. No SGA, no Dort, no Hartenstein, no problem. Thunder down 5 at the half, up 10 as the third quarter winds down in Phoenix. They're now 9.5 point favorites going into the fourth. They were 1.5 point favorites at halftime. Golden State has taken a commanding lead. Third quarter's over there. They outscored San Antonio by 18 in the third. They were down 4 at halftime, yet they were still 7.5 point favorites. Now they're up 12, 88-76. Warriors lead it, laying 14 and a hook live. Fourth quarter just began in Golden State. Clippers were minus 10.5. When we checked in last, it was 50-46 Clippers halfway through the second quarter. Now halfway through the third quarter, they're up 20. 19 to be exact. 86-67. Yeah, I said the Rockets offense wasn't going to be sustainable with all the guys that they're missing. Well, they've got 46 points in the first 18 minutes. In the last 11 minutes, they've got just 21. Clippers up 19. They've gone from laying 10.5 live to now laying 18.5 on the live line halfway through the third quarter there. Pre-flop, they were laying an even 10 just about everywhere. OKC was laying 7 going into that game. They might cover now that they're up 10 at Phoenix. Golden State was laying 17.5, despite being down 4 at the break to San Antonio. They might cover that pre-flop number. Probably the least likely of the 4 games going on right now to cover the pre-flop number, but they're up a dozen. Just need to outscore San Antonio by 6 in the fourth quarter. Game means something for the Warriors, means nothing for the Spurs. We'll see how that game unfolds. More Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo up next.